turned me around. I used to think I was nothing, but look at this love we found. So give me that hand, I can take mine. I don't ever wanna see you cry. No more tears. No more tears. Take that chance, you'll be fine. No, I don't ever wanna see you cry. No more tears. No more tears.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get into today's video, I'd really appreciate if you could quickly pause this video and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and also the like button, because it really does support my channel and I really do appreciate it. So now that the formalities are out of the way, I wanted to jump on camera with you guys today and talk about body confidence, because personally I've struggled with body confidence in the past, and I feel like this could be a huge generalization, but also very true. I feel like every female goes through some kind of body image issue or confidence within themselves throughout the course of their life. For me, this was when I went through puberty and I put on a bunch of weight and I just didn't feel like myself anymore. For other women, this might be just after you've had a baby, it might be after you've had surgery, like it could be for a number of reasons. There's 5 top tips that I think really transformed my mindset with my body image and helped me create a positive body image and fix that relationship. And so I wanted to share them with you today. So getting straight into it with tip number 1, which is don't punish yourself through exercise. We've all done it where the night before, the day before, you've eaten a bit too much junk food, you've drinking a bit too much soft drink or alcohol, and you just wake up feeling like a bit of a failure. So you head to the gym and you absolutely smash yourself till you've got nothing left, thinking you're going to be able to outrun a bad diet and undo all of the damage you've done the night before. And first of all, you physically can't do that. Like, it's not possible to outrun a bad diet. But secondly, it has such a negative impact on your mental health. So this kind of segues really closely into tip number 2, because they have very similar tips. And tip number 2 is to not punish yourself with food. We've all been there, where exact same example as I just used with fitness, you therefore think because you've had a cheat day the day before, or because you ate something naughty for dinner or anything like that, you therefore have to make up for it the next day. And there are so many reasons that this is wrong, because first of all, you can't, like I said, you can't undo what you've done before. So anything you're doing today to make up for it, you're just punishing yourself for no reason and just making yourself feel even crapper about what you've done the night before, which isn't going to get you anywhere. No one is going to love themselves or their body if you're constantly telling it how bad of a job it did and how it doesn't deserve food. Like, think about that for a second. Your body is always going to balance itself out, and if you just tune in and start listening, it's really going to help you understand how to work with it and how to love it properly, instead of just like having this like rock against a hard place kind of relationship. But yeah. Anyway, that is enough talking on the first 2 tips, because I am starving and I'm gonna go make some healthy pancakes. So let's get into it. tip number 3 and tip number 4. So grab yourself a coffee. Let's get into it. So tip number 3 for you guys is learning to disassociate your self-worth with your physical appearance. Now, this is the hardest tip that I have in here, and it's probably gonna be the one that's gonna take you the longest to wrap your head around. But there's a couple of reasons that I think that this is so important. The first one is normally when you sit there and you're starting to judge yourself or how important you are of your physical appearance, you straight away go for the things that you don't like, that you actually can't change about yourself. Like you might look in the mirror and you're like, I wish my nose was smaller. I wish my hip bones looked differently, so I had a thigh gap. I wish that I was more tanned. Things like that, where granted, you could go and change them. You could go spend a lot of money and get a nose job, or you could get a spray tan or things like that. Yes, you can change them. But for the average person, you're not going to change them. So you complaining about it does nothing but, like I said in the second or the first tip, it just puts you down for no reason. Whereas if you want to base your self-worth off something, why don't you choose something that has nothing to do with your physical appearance? Because even if you choose something that is more about the person within you and your personality, if you don't like something there, you can always change it. If you wished you were a better cook, you could teach yourself that. If you didn't like that you're always a grumpy person, you could put yourself in a more positive mood and slowly have a more positive attitude. Like those things you can actually change about yourself, so why not focus on that then? And then you have something to be proud of yourself of because you're making progress in it. The second reason that this tip is so important brings us on to tip number 4, is understanding that your body is not always going to look the same, particularly the female body. Your body fluctuates so much based off your monthly cycle. So some days you're gonna wake up and you've done everything right. You've been eating right, you've been drinking right, you've been like going to sleep on time, you haven't been too stressed, and you wake up and you're like so bloated that you look pregnant and you're like, what happened? It's because your body does that. If your body is constantly fluctuating and you're only looking your least bloated, no acne, like looking amazing 50% of the time, does that mean you're willing to only love yourself 50% of the time? Like if you judge how much you are worth as a person based off something that fluctuates monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, I go to bed not looking as good as I woke up. The best thing you can do is use that tip I just gave you and learn to disassociate your self-worth with your physical appearance. Learn to focus on other things that you can either change about yourself or you're already very proud of yourself for, and you will see a huge difference in your mental health. You'll thank me for it. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to wrap up this little talk in here. I'm probably gonna go and do a bunch of editing, and I might actually go and stretch as well, and then I'll catch up with you guys a little bit later. Snoop. Sit. Peggy, come here. Come here. Sit. 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 There we go. There you go.
The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna.
Alrighty, so it's time for our final tip. I'm sitting here on the floor with Fergie and Snoop. They're currently being alright behaved, but we'll see how that goes. Let me know in the comments below. Should outros with Snoop and Fergie become a thing? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. I kind of like the idea of it. So it is time for our final tip this evening. So tip number 5, which is to stop counting calories and macros. Now, this is going to be a very controversial tip, and I'm going to say straight up, if counting calories and counting macros works for you, then 100% stay in your own lane, do what works for you. At the end of the day, you know what's best for you, and some people do really thrive off counting calories and counting macros. I have lots of friends that do as well. Just for me personally, and for a lot of other people I know, counting calories is one of the worst things you can do for your body image. And for me personally, counting calories and getting fixated on the numbers was what made my relationship with my body and with my self-worth so bad in the first place. Now, the reason I say don't count your calories or your macros is because when you're tallying that data up, you're not doing it once a day or at the end of the week or at the end of the month, but what you're doing is you're going on your phone and you're entering it after every single meal. So that's at least breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you've got to have some kind of snack going on in there. So let's just average that up to 4 times a day. So that's 4 times a day that you're sitting down and wasting a whole bunch of time, because from what I can remember, counting your calories takes a really long time to find all the little icons in the little app. And that's 4 times a day that you're sitting down on your phone and comparing how well you did and if you're deserving of more food and your overall progress based off how many calories you needed that day. And we've already discussed in tip 3 and 4 that every single day your body is changing. Every single day your body is going to need a different amount of energy, aka calories, based off how lethargic you've been, how awake you've been, what your hormones are doing. And it's like you don't ever take those things into consideration when you are doing some kind of calorie tracking. So some days you're easily going to be able to meet it, and some days you're really going to struggle. And on those days that you struggle and you get to sit down at the end of the day and look at how many calories you ate and how much you went over, it does nothing but make you feel like absolute garbage and literally want to cry. Well, at least that's what it did to me. So like I said before, if counting calories works for you, then stick to it. But if you're someone like me and it's just making you look at food as numbers, eating as a chore, and it just makes you feel like crap every single time you click on that little app on your phone, consider deleting it. Consider just trying intuitive eating with, or you can even not go by that title if you don't want to go by that title, just eating as per what your body wants. Because at the end of the day, you have nothing to lose. If it doesn't work for you, you just go back to counting calories. If it does work for you, then you've found a solution to not feel like garbage every time you eat. Choice is yours. So yeah, with that, I'm going to wrap up today's video. I do still have Fergberg here. There we go. She's very unimpressed with this right now. Look at the camera. No, you don't want to play nice. You're going to pretend that I'm hurting you. Can you look at the camera? Can you look at the camera? Fergie. Wait. Look. There we go. And now Snoop's coming over. Come on. We're saying goodbye to the people. Do you want to be in it? So with that, I'm going to wrap up today's video and put these dogs to bed. They're currently both laying on me. No, Fergie's up and walking again, but Snoop is definitely asleep on my ankle. I hope you guys did enjoy this video as always and get some value out of it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate if you quickly pause and give this video a like and subscribe, because it really does support my channel and I really do appreciate it. But besides that, I hope you're having a beautiful morning or night whenever you're watching this. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday at 11 AM. Bye guys.